So with both of us looking at Alaska and the opportunities here, kind of give everybody a little bit of insight into what you guys are looking for site development. When you're making your investments, it's billions and billions and billions of dollars, right? What are you looking for as it pertains to Alaska, and like what are the requirements to make something happen?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think when you think about a data center and what, the priority is of ultimately our clients, that Google, Microsoft, Amazon, what are they looking for? They're looking for reliable power, number one, right? These things have to run 24/7. Switch, which is one of our data center companies that we operate, we had them up here and visited a couple of months ago. They spent a couple of days scoping out places, and the governor's been kind enough to come and visit with them at their headquarters. And, reliability of power. They've literally never had downtime in the last 20 years, which is pretty unheard of at a data center business at the scale that they operate. And so reliability of power 24/7. Cost is a big factor. What's the price of energy? I think that when I look at Alaska, that'll be the key that we need to unlock, is to figure out how do you get that lower cost energy. So, those are kind of two keys: is how reliable is the power, what is it going to cost, and then what are some of the other friction points around, can I get access to not just land and energy, but can I get access to the people, permitting, how friendly are you? I think that's one of the probably underappreciated aspects of data center development and really digital infrastructure broadly, is how receptive is the community to economic development. And when you see, Randy talked about this, the receptivity that Alaska has to, welcoming new investors, helping them figure out ways to do that, that's a huge differentiator relative to some of the other states that may be, more restrictive around that. We talk about, we operate some data centers in California and Silicon Valley. A lot of those big companies would love to have more capacity there, but there are too many challenges around permitting, restrictions around being able to put more power online. And so you have to go to places like Texas, places like Alaska, to really think about building these big scale, giga-scale campuses, because that's really the future. I think people underappreciate, because we're just getting to use this stuff now. You talked about it earlier. That's going to be critical. We've been very efficient we're getting increasingly energy efficient as a country. At the same time, demand is growing. Those two things have set each other off. And the challenge right now is the demand that AI is driving is forcing the power sector, the utility sector, the energy sector, the digital infrastructure sector to really deal with an increase in demand that it hasn't seen for a long time. So it's mostly been about just kind of maintaining and making sure that what we've got is working well. And you're now seeing this kind of need to rapidly put on capacity. And that's where you're finding out, what the communities are like that are really that are thinking about economic development, how this can help them. And that's why it's been, I think, so refreshing for us to come up to Alaska to see the governor, his team, thinking about ways to, leverage all of these natural resources that Alaska has, do it sustainably, do it responsibly. That's really welcome. And I know the big companies, the Googles, Amazons, Metas of the world that we were talking about, they pay attention to that, because that has to be kind of a persistent approach over time, because the leases they signed with us are 15, 20-year leases, right? They know that this demand is persistent, and they want to lock it up for a long time. So it's a great business to be in, and it's a great kind of economic trend to be levered to.